Dumelang, Twakshemererwa. That's hello and welcome in Tswana and Runyankore, which are representative of my Ugandan and South African heritage. I am your host, Busi Matsiko Anden, representing the Africa Story Network. The Africa Story Network preserves African stories. We don't only just use griots, we preserve these stories and archive them. Today we have an amazing storyteller all the way from Sierra Leone, and he's none other than the infamous Kewulay Kamara, who is known for his legendary storytelling. He's going to present amazing storytelling with other performances. Stay tuned for an amazing time.
Good day. My name is Kewulay Kamara. I come from a long line to the 7 generations of Mande storytellers. When we say storytellers, we're not talking about just people sitting by a campsite, by a campfire and telling stories. We're talking about the stories that people live by. We're telling the stories that are guiding our lives, our organizing principles. We say it in stories. And today, I am fortunate to have some people who we call jeli in our tradition, noble storytellers from Guinea, from Gambia, from Senegal, from Sierra Leone, and I have to my left here Ibrahim Jassi. He's on bala. This bala is a major instrument in our culture. And further to my left is Mamadou Saliu Suso. He is also from Gambia. Another person from a long, long lineage of poets, storytellers, singers, musicians, but beyond that, in our culture, these are the educators. These are the people that maintain the stories that hold us together. In our culture, nothing is complete without our mothers. We say in our culture, a person is nothing without your mother, because your mother is the one that nurtures your humanity. So it is with us, jeli people, Fina people, Lasri people from all over. Our art, our work is not complete without the voice of our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers, our aunts. Today, imagine Imagine, my brothers and sisters, that you are sitting in a courtyard, in an African courtyard, where we're going to have a ceremonial storytelling. And we are blessed with one of the most powerful voices in Manding culture, West African culture. Her name, Misia Saranjubate.
Kewulay Kamara, jeli kumbaro, ni jeli kumara de finala fasarilenya, mane finaba ki kanaboba, mane sibi kurura kamaja,
Made. We are playing a song called Lambang. Lambang is the music to the jeli, to the storytellers. And we want to start this particular program that we're so proud to be part of. It's Africa Story Time. We're so proud to open it with Lambang. And there are many stories that we can tell about Lambang, but today we'll tell you one story, one small story. And it's a story about the times, because it talks about what it means to be an artist, a jeli in our culture, the relevance. The story I tell is about a man, a jeli man. And who was he? His name, Kewulay. But he played what? He played the bala, this royal instrument that was given to the jeli by Osmoro Kante, the original. What does it mean? Kewulay was a well-known and famous jeli musician. He never hungered for anything because the community provided everything for him, because the community valued what it is to be a storyteller, so they maintained storytellers. But things became hard, times changed. Now came a time just like today, there was difficulty, there was famine, there was war, calamity. And the jeli who used to go out and perform and dance and sing for the people, all of a sudden found himself without anyone to play for, to sing to dance to bring up. And he wondered, where are my friends? Where are my great hosts my jatigi, where are they? They are not nowhere to be found. So he thought there was this particular host, someone who supported him. He decided to go to find that person. And when he approached the village, Yeli Ibrahima, when he approached the village, Yeli Salim saw Mr. Sarah. What did they say? They said, hey, Koyami. Say, things are difficult. Your host doesn't want you to know that he is really starving right now. His whole family is locked in that room and they're not coming out because things are difficult for everybody. It's hunger season. It's concourse season, I would say, in Monday. So what did the jeli do? He took his bala. He took his bala and went and sat in front of his host, his jatigi. And what did he do? People came. All of a sudden, it was like magic. People came from all over, and they all were bringing something. Because when an artist sings, when a jeli sings, to show your appreciation, you give whatever you have, whatever little you have. So people brought bananas, they brought corn, they brought some yams, a little bit of rice, chicken, whatever they can afford. Before you know, the compound of the jatigi was filled with things to eat. And they said it was for the jeli to take with him where he's going. And he thought, he said, no, I am not taking this to my home. He said, this is for the people here. There are some people who are fortunate today and they are wealthy, not through any credit of theirs, but because of the mercy of the Creator of the heavens and the earth and all that's in between. There are some people today that are suffering, not because of any kind of demerit of theirs, because time changed. So today, these fruits of your labor, these fruits of your generosity, your compassion for me and for my host, I want to take and share with those who do not have today. So they shared everything that the community brought to the jeli gave back to the community. Jelia, Kubaye, Apo.
Jelia, Mane Jeli Lutaramini. Wale Jelia di follow Jeli Balawili, follow Koto Salu. Navaru Wilaka, Walu Jeti, Luko, Laye Balasiki, Apon Jeti, Jeli Luwila, and the Jeti the Fola, Narasoma Barola, Narabra Barola, Womadio de Fola, Bio, Kosumu, Jeliba Jeti Sumu, Jelidiana Bo Bedi. Namu, Monday, and so the people, they said today, maybe your name was Mamadou Kuyate, but today we call you something else. Maybe today, maybe your name was Abubakar Jabate, but we call you something today. Today we call you the Concord Jeli, the Jeli of the hard times, the Jeli of the difficult times. Here we are. Here is Mama Salim Suso.
Monsieur Saran, Abraham Sase, Kewulay Kamara, singing to you, telling you the stories of Congo Jeli. The stories of the difficult times.
Kewulay Kamara manefina ni maneja ni luma koko
Once upon a time, the animals in the animal kingdom went to the sky to visit the king.
Once he got to the top, being the proud spider that he is.
Lele, Mushlele, it's my tribe from the Congo.
That's the reason why when somebody dies, they bury.
African story time. We're going to tell a story about Kanyikuria, a woman. And we're going to tell a classic Malian song called Jeli.
Kana majo chado jankel kana majo dia majo ba bizalo fetu mara jambe dile maro mala jambe dile songani sana jambe dile wal jamana la amuna tapu ya asini kudi ya babaki ya zambaki bila bande jalo lijagalida nyanjara bara mindole jibara suma gunda tumanna suma gunda alim bara batangida alim bara bakan suma kajor farandamba wayo farandamba goriyorma musabara ballakum mambaygo kunolu tennama no bandanga tadula ke sidula ke alenga tadula ke keleke jadoluna denga tadula.
Today, sing to tell the story of a woman. Her name was Kanyikuria. When we tell stories, we tell stories obviously of things that have happened in the past. But stories are not about the past. Stories are about the future. The stories that we tell inform our behavior, our vision, our expectations and anticipation of the future. To that, we recall a young woman who lived on the foothills of the Bintimani ranges, the source of the great river Niger. Where did she live? She lived in Damania. Damania, the edge of two walls. She lived in Damania. The beautiful Kanyikuria lived in Damania.
Damania Jambedile, Damania Jambedile, Damania Kuruga, Jambedile, Damania.
Jeli wuli tole Kanyikuria. Jeli wuli tole Kanyikuria. Jeli atowa iswari nyafo defananye. Ya wuli Kamara, kiyo kumamo kono je Kanyikuria nyafoba. Namo jeli alao namo.
Thank you. Inike, Kanyikuria was a young woman, and everybody in the community knew her as a human being. Because Kanyikuria never fought with anyone. Kanyikuria was always respectful to the elders. Kanyikuria always cared for the young. Kanyikuria was a woman of her time. Kanyikuria had two daughters. She was a young woman of childbearing age. Kanyikuria had two daughters in Damania. Damania, on the edge of the two walls of the east and the west, the Janunka and the Mandinka. Kanyikuria lived in the village of Damania.
Damania Jambedile, Damania Jambedile, Kanya Kuruga, Jambedile, Damania Jambedile.
And it happened that one morning, just like every other morning, Kanyikuria took her calabash and went to the edge of the grove where a stream ran, and there to fetch water and sometimes to bathe in the morning before sunrise. Kanyikuria did this almost every morning, just like many young villagers did every morning. But this particular morning, the sun rose. Kanyikuria never came from the river, from the stream. The sun rose again, and people started asking, where is Kanyikuria? Some say, oh, she went to the waterside. But hey, it's been a long time since she went to the waterside. Kanyikuria, where is she? Send someone to go search for Kanyikuria. They sent someone to the little grove at the edge of Damania, and what did they find? At the edge of the stream, there is a black rock. This rock, nobody knows where it came from. It was always there, almost like a meteorite was there, a rock. And it was on this rock that the young woman would usually bathe. And what did they find? They found Kanyikuria's clothing right on the rock, but nowhere was Kanyikuria to be found. So they put out the word. They told everybody, where is Kanyikuria? As they will do in the hills, in the mountains. People will say, "Boo!" And who will echo echo, 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 echo in the mountains, in the forests. And normally, somebody will answer back, "Ooh!" But there was no answer. Except for the trees that echoed the voices of the people, there was no answer back. Days went by. People were looking for Kanyikuria. They couldn't find Kanyikuria anywhere. They consulted the sorcerers, the people who should know better. The sorcerers could not find where Kanyikuria was. They consulted the soothsayers. No one could tell where Kanyikuria was. Days went by. What story should we tell the children, the two daughters of Kanyikuria? The elders asked. What should we tell these young people about their mother? The father of her two children said to the daughters, "Your mother is alive. Your mother is alive. You know, your mother went to that stream, to that forest, and the trees were there. They witnessed, they know who she is and what she is. There were animals there, right, that were there when she went there. They saw what happened. They know where Kanyikuria is. Kanyikuria is not there. And anytime they tell the children, anytime you think of your mother, go down to the stream, go down to the forest, call her name, and pour your heart out and tell her what you're thinking right now. And every time the kids think about their mother, they will take them to the river, to the stream where they last saw her, and they will pour their heart out, and that became a tradition. But there's more to this tradition, because today in the village of Damania, that's now in present day Guinea, by the great town of Parana in Guinea, there's a grove. The grove where Kanyikuria was. And they call that grove Kanyikuria. Where she disappeared, they call Kanyikuria. At Kanyikuria, nobody cuts down the trees. At Kanyikuria, nobody hunts the animals. Anything that existed in Kanyikuria was considered a sacred place for all. And anybody at all that can identify with their mother, their sister, their aunt that disappeared and they don't know where she is or he is, can come down to this little village, to this Kanyikuria, to the edge of the river and call their names, the names of the ancestors, and their prayers will be answered, will be fulfilled. That's how it is for generations. I'm telling you this, you know. Why am I telling you this? Kanyikuria was the grandmother of my grandfather. My grandfather's mother was one of the two young people that Kanyikuria left behind. But I think about myself, about my experience in America and everywhere, and I think about the time that Kanyikuria might have lived in the world and try to find out what was happening in the world at the time. Just like somebody talks about us today and tells a story about something happening in the year 2001, we want to ask what was going on around the world in 2001 that will actually frame the condition of people.
Damalia Jambedile, Kanyikuria Jambedile, Damalia Jambedile.
Namo.
Dunia, in dunia fa dunia. Kunun tambida mebi koroja masini Kenya lumume. Alatalla dunia da sobe ya laba bana sobe ya lefanana. Inna ma mara ujala daseyang ini yakula la kun fayakunu. Damani ajambedile, damani jambedile, Kanyikuria jambedile.
Now I think Kanyikuria may have been born around the 1830s, the early 1800s. What was happening in the world in the 1800s? In the early 1800s, the cotton gin had been long invented and cotton had become king. In the early 1800s, laws had been passed in Europe and America that banned the international slave trade across the Atlantic. But slavery and slave trading hadn't stopped. Many young women, particularly, were disappearing in the African continent everywhere because something had developed in America to satisfy the craving for raw black labor, and that was the internal slave trade. Slavery turned to breeding people, and so black women, young childbearing black women, were premium. And so many people disappeared. Many young women disappeared. Could one of them be Kanyikuria? Were the people not aware of all the things that were going on in the world that will account for the disappearances of these people, of Kanyikuria, of young women like Kanyikuria? They were aware. They were very aware of the world, but they chose to tell a story for the future. What you say? How do you take a calamity and turn it into a powerful instrument for survival? What is the story, the future story of Kanyikuria? What should the great-grandchildren of Kanyikuria remember? They say Kanyikuria never died. Kanyikuria lives. The trees know it. The rivers know it. The grass, the wind, the sun and the moon, the stars know it. Kanyikuria lived. She lived. And anyone, you in America, could have been descendants of Kanyikuria. We in Africa are descendants of Kanyikuria. We tell the story of Kanyikuria for the future. Let the trees be protected. Let the rivers be covered. Let the animals in the bushes receive respite, peace. Kanyikuria lives. Jeli, jomate nyebolo, laba.
Lombetene, imaye lombetene, mwakaduma ke ibaki jerejeo, ikaduma ke baki jerebananena. Alatala la dunya di, mimana furuba na dia. Ayo wale ke la dunya kono.
Namu.
jeli ya kadire ane jeli ya kuma fa fo yoro du fanama yana fo ima katamaka
Namu.
jeli ya bena yoro diro makafina Kewulay Kamara ya kanabanye kwanyina kana mani jeli bunda koroba jone ya be korobola kabamura mani boso yangwele jafunuka ni ya me jafunuka oluye maraka mori ledi maraka no be mabuja je mori angora maraka tu jamanaro kana kaka kana fore mudu konde so kaka fore mudu konde fore mudu kaba je kango sidi worule kaka kana baya tabo kabaje ite ya murele anani lakini likana bere
Afo!
Ejere muso.
Afo!
jeli ya kuma kadile nani mani kamori luwele chafuna kamari kaka salamani dala kabaye kaka banakoro dala kabaye kaka metola kabaye kaka kagabuda kabaye kaka jagana kabaye kaka tarifamuria kabaye kaka kefina kaluye kaka ulula jeli lu kede ne sidi mamadi jeli ni wulirade Yosiso kede wajometide kede baye kaka woyo jeli woyo tajetide lale namukoro
Africa story time.
Once upon a time, the animals in the animal kingdom went to the sky to visit the king.
Once he got to the top, being the proud spider that he is,
Lele, Mushlele, it's my tribe from the Congo.
That's the reason why when somebody dies, they bury.
Thank you, Africa story time. We are so honored, incredibly honored and humbled by the fact that we could be here today to initiate what will be an institution, a cultural institution for the future, which is Africa story time. Story time is needed now. We need story time in these times of war and famine and disease. We need story time. We need the stories that will enable us to move through these difficult times. Today, we're here with our brother who invited us, Daddy Kamara. We're so proud because, he knows what storytelling is about, and he comes from that tradition in our society. And we're fortunate today to have had these wonderful jeli musicians and singers and poets and storytellers on their own. Each one of these people could tell stories forever. Mama Saliu Suso is here. Mr. Sarang is here. Ibrahim Al-Jassi is here. I am Kewulay Kamara. Thank you very much. We hope to be back soon. We hope to be back with more, because where we come from is the infinite fountain of stories in the world. Thank you.